Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this very exciting review of the new Stephanie Lange by Sigma all-in-one essentials palette. If you know me, you know I live for a face palette, and this is not only a face palette. Oh no. This is an everything palette. It's eyes, it's cheeks, it's face, it's everything you need in a palette. It is perfect for travel, which you know I'm all about. I love an all-in-one. I've only got one thing to take, bit of foundation, concealer, mascara, and I'm good to go. That's my travel vibe. So this is going to be perfect for me. So if you don't know Stephanie is an OG here on YouTube. She is a professional makeup artist and she really specializes in hooded eyes, mature skin, all those kind of like problem areas or areas where people struggle with, like your average makeup techniques don't work for you, or for whatever reason they're harder, or you have to work around something. That's like Stephanie's thing, because she is a genius with like the technical application tips. That's where I found Stephanie, looking for hooded eye, eyeshadow tutorials, eyeliner, winged liner on hooded eyes, all that stuff is where Stephanie shines. So she also, if you don't know her, you better get to know her. She is vegan and cruelty free and a huge animal lover. She's also a huge body positivity advocate and an advocate here on YouTube for being real and showing you the real tea as far as things like skin and life in general. So as you can imagine, I love all of these things and much more about Stephanie. She's so supportive. She's certainly helped me out on my journey here on YouTube. So I'm very excited for her and happy for her, because good people deserve good things. So Stephanie wanted this palette obviously to be cruelty free and vegan like herself. She also wanted it to be super inclusive. So she's tried to make this, as much as it's like a Diddy travel friendly palette, given that this is eyeshadow and cheeks, it's a really nice travel friendly size. She wanted it, even though it has that small size to it, to be usable in as many skin tones as possible. So she's made some of these shades tailored to fairer skin, like this contour shade, for example, is designed for fair, light skin tones, and she wanted this bronzer to then be more usable for medium, deeper skin tones. You can see with the shadows that there are some that are geared towards fairer, lighter skin tones, and some that will work beautifully on richer, deeper skin tones. So, I mean, we can only applaud the effort that must have gone into trying to make such a cohesive, small, travel-friendly palette actually work for more than one skin tone, which I certainly think it does. I also appreciate the mirror. I know that adds to cost, but I think it's so important, especially if you're going to make something that's supposed to be travel-friendly. It has to have a mirror, doesn't it? It has to. This is also super light. I know Stephanie wanted it to be cardboard so that it was recyclable, because she obviously is a very planet friendly person and she didn't want to add a load of plastic into the environment. So I appreciate that, but it feels super light and it's also really thin. This is such a travel friendly palette. That is where this comes into its own. So without further ado, let's give this a try on my cheeks and my eyes and see how we get on. So I'm going to use my Refa bronzer brush because it's a nice sort of narrow brush which will fit really nicely in the bronzer pan. I'm going to start off with the bronzer as opposed to the eyes. I'm going to tap that off because I'm a little afraid. Who knows, working with a new bronzer. Oh, okay. Okay, it's buildable, it's fine. We didn't need to panic. We're going to be fine, guys. You just know with a new bronzer, you never know if it's going to go on crazy heavy and then you're kind of stuck with it like that. This is definitely one that you can use with a lighter hand and build up, but it's not like super hard to blend out if you put too much like I just did. So that's quite nice. That's like the perfect kind of middle ground for me. So it's a pretty matte, I think it's totally matte actually, bronzer, which most people will prefer. So yeah, this is nice and buildable of a formula, but it's not like giving me a really hard time to blend out either. It's really easy to get my brush into the pan. I know people were a little confused because it's always hard with promo shots, and they're, you know, every promo shot you see, it looks different, doesn't it? And I think a lot of people thought this bronzer was like super orange, and it's really not. It's a nice undertone. I think this bronzer is going to kind of work on like a up to a sort of medium to tanned skin tone. I don't think it's going to work any deeper than that because, as you can see, I'm kind of layering it and building it up. I'm like an NC 40 right now. So yeah, I think any kind of much more tanned or deeper skinned than me, and it's not gonna bronze you a whole amount. I am actually really surprised by that bronzer. I just wasn't sure, looking at it in the pan, that it maybe looked too warm, or I don't know, because I do tend to prefer a cooler, more neutral bronzer, but actually when it goes on, it's gorgeous. Such a nice tone. Very natural, like the kind of bronzers I prefer. So that was a nice surprise. Like, it's definitely neutral enough to use like down the bridge of the nose. I really like the bronzer. I really like it. I'm not going to use the contour shade because this is just going to look really weird and crazy on me. It's definitely one that is perfect for like fairer skin tones, as Stephanie said. So I'm going to go in with the highlight now. And this is my Linda Holberg highlight brush. So there, oh yes. Oh, that's pretty. This highlight, Stephanie did say that she wanted it to work for as many skin tones as possible. So she kept the like base, I think that's what she said. She kept the base basically clear so that it's going to work on more skin tones, that you're going to be able to use this without it leaving like a cast or a streak. Oh, that is, it's super glowy, as you can see, but it's not hugely emphasizing texture. It's that perfect middle ground. Like, it's definitely not like leaving me, you know, a cast. You can look forward and you can turn your cheek and see it's melting nicely into the skin, which is what we love, but it's still super bright. Ooh, super bright. This, so far, the cheeks, ooh, adding a little bit of my Tom Ford Flush blush just to finish my cheeks. I know Steph said that she wanted to add a blush, but she felt like blush was just so hard to do in a universal way, which I can understand. I mean, I feel like the vast majority of products are very hard to make universal. I feel like with these face palettes, a bit like the Hourglass ones, it's the only real way to do it is to make, you know, a light to medium and then a tan to deep, and make two palettes, because it's a nightmare trying to like make products like this that are going to work on fair to deep skin. Is incredibly hard, but it is an amazingly refreshing treat to see someone actually attempting to do that. So now on to the eyes. Now I'm 100% going to be dipping into this gold shade because it's like, for me, it's just the one in the palette that we have to see it. We have to see it. So I'm going to start off with this Sunset shade over here, which is the one that is kind of like calling my name as a kind of first shadow. And this is my I think this is a prototype. Yeah, this is the prototype because the number has worn off. So I'm sorry about it, but it's similar to like the 15. This is the ideal crease shade for me because it's like fairly close to my skin tone. And I know, like, again, Steph wanted to offer as many shadows for different skin tones as she could. So you've kind of got options in here for lighter skin tones, medium skin tones, deeper skin tones as far as a transition. But obviously you can use the bronzer shade as well as a crease shade. Blending out really nicely. I haven't got a huge amount of experience with Sigma eyeshadows. The only palette I've tried from them is their warm neutrals, which is nice. Again, it's a perfect like travel friendly palette for me. I think they do that very well. So next I'm sticking with that same brush and I'm going into the bronzer to deepen up that crease. I feel like it's just nice to kind of use your bronzer in your eyes as well, on your eyes, because it makes everything kind of marry together, you know. Really like that bronzer. This is definitely a palette that is going to be like traveling with me for weekends away, trips to the fam, holidays, that kind of thing. It's exactly that. It does that thing perfectly. Okay, so I've picked up my Bristles EO2 brush and I'm going into Storm, which is this deep brown matte. Whew, be careful, be careful. Oh, it's okay, don't panic, don't panic. I'm not really noticing much kickback or fallout or anything like that here. These shades, again, lots of mattes for more mature eyes. I know lots of my mature subs much prefer using all mattes because they are more kind of mature lid friendly, I guess. And now for that gold. I am excited. I'm going to go in with my MAC 242. Look at that. Look how pretty. So much softer than I thought it was going to be. Oh, but you can, okay, you can build it up. So you could actually use this quite flexibly, like either as a bit of a wash or you can add and get a bit more build up. There's a little bit of fallout. I think this is kind of like, I think Steph said this is almost like a glitter, but it's adhering nicely to the lid, although I've got a few little flecks of fallout, but nothing disastrous. This is a dry brush, haven't dampened it. There's obviously no adhesive or anything like that, which you could obviously use to minimize that. Going back into the highlight for my inner corners. Ooh, that's nice there. And the brow arch. Whew. This is my Bristles Beauty 06, by the way. And then my Bristles Beauty pencil brush under the lash line with the bronzer. So here is the completed look with the eyes, the bronzer, the highlight, everything. So you can see a nice and close up. These eyes turned out nice. I am loving this whole look. I feel like I wish I had somewhere to go other than the school run later and some swimming lessons, so I'm perfectly appropriate. So what do I think of this palette? Now, obviously this is the Essentials palette. It is exactly as it says. It's your kind of your basics for every day, for every occasion in one handy place. So it's exactly what she set out to do. It's a perfect beginner's palette as well, because it's got everything you could need to get started for a whole flippin' face is what it is. I think this is such a great starter palette or travel palette. If you have a huge makeup collection, do I think there's anything in here that you don't necessarily have already? Probably not. Do you have it all in one handy place with a mirror and a travel friendly size and design? Probably not. I don't think I have anything that is this travel friendly that has all of these options and covers eyes and cheeks to this degree. I can't even think of anything. Generally, palettes are eyes or cheeks, or they just have a couple of shadows, whereas this has got a real great number of options. I can't really comment on the contour shade because obviously this is for lighter skin than mine, so this would look hella grey on me, but for fairer skin this is obviously much more tailored to that skin tone. The highlight I think is beautiful. The bronzer I love and was really not expecting to, because I just don't know, from some of the product shots it maybe looked too warm or too deep, I'm not sure, but it works perfectly on me. I don't think it's going to work on deeper skin tones. I think kind of my skin tone, like an NC40, is probably about as deep as this is going to work, but it is nice and buildable, so it will certainly work for lighter skin tones as well. These shadows are very, very nice and blendable, and just the perfect kind of combo to travel with, because you can easily do a daytime look, a glam look, a colourful look, and it's just very well thought out in that way. It's definitely very beginner friendly, and if you don't have a huge collection already, this is going to be an easy starting place for you, especially if you have mature skin or you just don't really know where to start and you're intimidated by super crazy colours or crazy pigmented over the top glitters or shimmers, because this is definitely a wearable palette where it's not intimidating for like everyday use. So there you have it. That is the Sigma by Stephanie Lang Essentials palette. I think they did a great job, and I love that they have gone so hard to try and make this as inclusive as possible while maintaining its little bitty cute little size. I think they did a great job and I'm so happy. So congratulations to Stephanie. I hope you found this review helpful, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.